Hey everybody, it is Tuesday, so it's Tuesday Talks with Wendy, and I'm so happy. We've been doing lots of videos lately, and I know you're probably getting a little sick of my face, so I thought I'd bring on my really good friend, Darlene Tindall. She is part of my Wellness Warriors kind of wonderful group of goddesses, as far as I'm concerned, that just give everything of themselves to other people to bring about some holistic health and through different modalities. And we've been talking to a lot of them all this month. So we talked to Don Condon earlier this month, and Dana Irvine, and today, last but not least, we're talking to Darlene. So take it away, Darlene. This is for you, honey. Introduce yourself. And
Thanks for having me,
hi,
Wendy.
you're very welcome. I'm actually I'm the lucky one here, so that's so nice.
You have the easy job. No, I won't say that. That's not true either.
No, this is all pretty easy.
Uh,
I'm not a rocket science by any means, so if I can do it, anybody can do it.
right. Well, yeah, there's a lot to say in a little time. I try and condense it because I do a lot. And so I've been doing wellness and personal development and transformation work for over 20 years, for a
Wow.
long time. And really, I could say I started as a kid. It's just
Wow.
something um, that interested me, and I spent a lot of time alone. We lived far away in the bush by myself with my as an only child. So I've been doing um, just inner work and searching and asking questions for a long time. But really, I started working over 20 years ago. I started with Reiki and just had lots of curiosity. So I work with energy medicine, Eden Energy Medicine. Um, I teach yoga and meditation and throw in all kinds of different techniques from Ayurveda and things like that. I'm a life coach.
Nice.
Yes. What
Yes.
else? It's a long list, and I just kind of mash it all up and throw it together, and all these areas of study. And right now, what I'm really excited about is my Facebook group, because I thought, what an amazing opportunity to bring people together. And when people have the time to actually do some of this work and actually um, look at their lives and what they want to change.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's happening right now, is all of this really wonderful, juicy group work.
Yes. And I
So,
think,
and
yeah,
anybody is welcome to join. It's called the Awe and Wonder Experience on Facebook.
I'll definitely put a link in there for everybody to
Yes.
connect with that. It's an amazing group. I'm part of that group, and I find myself scrolling every once in a while and going, oh, and you make me stop and just think. And I think we're all thinking a lot right now, but maybe we're not thinking the right things. We tend to get a little bit frustrated or overwhelmed, or just kind of maybe stuck in our heads a little bit, and not having that right story going through that loop. And I find that a lot of the posts that you're putting in there make me stop and go, oh yeah, what's going on? Why am I this way? Or why, and stepping back and really reevaluating where I'm at this point too. So thank you so much for that. That's amazing. I love the group. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's very, really nice.
I feel really blessed for the people that are in the group, and the amount of sharing
Yes.
that's happening and how much we can learn from one another.
Mhm.
And just the level of that's a generosity of spirit when people share their experience.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, I've been following Brene Brown for a while now. I don't know what your thoughts are on her, but I've been reading about the whole vulnerability kind of situation. And
Yeah.
I think it's hard for a lot of people to be vulnerable, but at the same time, when you feel safe, when you're in a safe space like the group that you have, it is a little bit easier for people to, open up a little bit and just be themselves, be open to not, I don't mean ridicule or anything like that, but just be open and without feeling like you're going to be ridiculed or
Yeah,
put down or judged or anything like that.
yeah,
Because
exactly.
I think essentially a lot of us are all in the same boat together and we're all feeling a lot of the same things. And until we really, open up and explain that and talk to people about that, sometimes it's, it gives that opening for other people to do it as well. So,
Yeah, that's it exactly. And I always say you have to start where you are,
yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with where you are.
No, no.
And lots of us have been there before,
Hmm.
or we're experiencing something difficult as well in our own way. And I just really congratulate people for, first of all, acknowledging where they are,
Hmm.
because then you can actually start to invite change in and start looking at things differently, start changing your story. But if you don't know where you are right now, you really can't move forward.
Yeah, yeah, and
So
yeah,
I
I
just
like,
try to encourage people.
yeah,
I never give them a hard time for where they are. But sometimes I will ask them, would you like to look at that a little bit differently?
yeah. It's the challenge too. I mean, and that's good. I mean, it's that opening that door to offer a walking through it or not. I mean, it's not like a push. It's not like
That's
a
right.
you have to or else. It's just like, opening that it's like a garden gate almost,
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. It's not a big scary door by any means. So, oh,
Yeah.
that's so nice. And I think what we need a lot more of this right now. And I think it's a wonderful time for this right now too, for a lot of
Hmm.
people. So
I
definitely.
think we have to find the blessings wherever they are.
Hmm.
And this time, there's a lot of fear and worry right now, a lot of sadness. Um, and to be honest, there's fear and worry and sadness always.
Yeah.
It's just more obvious. It's more present in our immediate lives now, instead of being in another country across the world
Hmm.
where we live. And so I think that makes people more aware of it than we would be normally. But um, there are always blessings. There are always miracles. There are always opportunities.
Yeah.
And when I take the ball and run with it. And I
Yeah.
just think it's a great time to get together and get curious and grow and heal.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's very easy to dive into the negativity that's going on right now. It's very easy to get caught up in the news, get caught up on the Facebook feeds and the Instagram and all these different things that are perpetuating the negative and the ongoing chaos and things that, I mean, are stuff that we have to know about, but at the same time, we don't have to dive into it and become part of it
That's
as well.
right. Yeah.
So, um, it's it's just an opportunity, like you said, to make that choice whether you're going to dive into it or
Hmm.
not. And if you're not and you don't know how not to, coming to a group like yours is a wonderful escape, or even just not an escape but just an opening to, like you said, a different reality, and allowing yourself to be open to that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a webinar coming up.
Oh,
I don't know
nice.
if you saw that.
Yes, I did actually.
May 4th at 7 o'clock
Okay.
Eastern Time. I'm going to be talking about something called the gunas.
Oh, okay.
So, so people with a background in Ayurveda might be more familiar with it.
Hmm.
And the gunas talk about states of being. And so it's really similar to what we're talking about how we're not always productive. We're not always enjoying life and you know, um, just flowing with it. That seems to be a term we like, just flow with it, right? We're
Hmm.
not always doing that. Lots of times we're frustrated. Um, Lots of times we feel stuck. And so I want to talk about what to do when you're stuck and how to make the most of that and appreciate that time,
Hmm.
how not to um, fall into the trap of always trying to be productive, and how to lengthen the time and really maximize the value of the time of appreciation.
Mm.
So those are 3 different states that the gunas talk about, and it's like a cycle. And so we will be talking about that.
That sounds very exciting, actually. I was just thinking I've got 2 of those 3 that'll probably be very good for me. Oh, yeah. And I mean, and you can take it from any perspective that you are coming from too. It's not just, diving into just one type of person or whatever. I think that can cover a gamut of a lot of different type of personalities, um, type of people, everything, which is amazing. And that's on May 4th, you said?
May 4th, 7 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll get you to give me the link and we can put it
Yeah,
in the
and
show
so
notes and
that
stuff like that.
you have to be a member of the group.
Yeah, perfect.
Anybody can be a member of the group.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's just in your
It's
group. Okay,
free.
perfect. Yeah,
It
nice.
is on Facebook, so you do
Yeah,
have to be on Facebook.
yeah,
But anybody is welcome. That's just where I will be hosting the party.
nice. Yeah, so I'll just put a link to the group because
Thank
I do
you.
post these on in my YouTube channel as well. So anybody
Fabulous.
that's watching from YouTube can just come over, and I'm sure the replay will be in there as well too. Will it not, or is it just going to be a live that?
I'm not sure yet.
Whatever happens.
Yeah, and the other
Wonderful.
thing that, of course, I'm doing ongoing is coaching. So I am an awe and wonder coach.
I love that name.
So if you would like more awe and wonder in your life, in your work, in your body, in your relationships, um, come and check out what I'm doing. Drop me a line and have a conversation. And really, it is, like you said, Wendy, from a place of non-judgment
Mhm.
and just starting where you are and creating the life that you want, not the one that somebody else told you have to have.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I know you get really creative with your coaching as well. Remember you having, because of the social distancing and stuff like that. I know we can always do this Zoom kind of
Yeah.
situation or video chat or whatever. But I
Yeah.
know you had what was it? Something that you had laid out in your driveway at your office or something that something along that lines that you get very creative with it. It's not just sitting and talking. So I mean, a lot of people, not a lot, but some people who don't know anything about life coaching or anything like that might kind of wonder what exactly it is. I don't know if
Yeah.
you can explain that a little bit or explain your type
Yeah.
of it.
You know, um, Nowadays, most coaching is done online.
Yeah.
It's done online. It's done over the phone. Um, and and that's great. Lots of people enjoy that because they like to work with a coach that doesn't know their circle of friends, doesn't like that. There's
Mhm.
kind of that anonymity and um, that neutrality. Um, so that is actually a bonus for some people.
Yeah.
And then in town, I my clients here love to meet in person. And if I mention, like today we might have to do it over the phone, they're usually like, "Can't we meet?"
Yeah.
So, so I enjoy both. Both of them work. Both can be really creative.
Mhm.
And the one that I did in town, because we're doing the social distancing, I did it in my driveway. We kept our distance,
Yeah.
and um, the more that we learn about neuroscience, coaches are learning that getting up and moving the body is really important because it accesses different parts of the brain and actually helps us to be more integrated. So, not just a doing person, but also a being person,
Mhm.
and not just focused on goals and achievement, but also being able to see a bigger picture,
Okay.
right? Um, and so, getting up and moving actually facilitates that in the brain, that development.
Okay.
So that picture that you saw, we were actually standing in the driveway, and I had 7 cards, like 8.5 by 11 cards, laid out all the way down the driveway, where we could go and stand by the card, and it would have a word on it. Like one was frustration,
Okay.
right? And then it's like it goes from the more yucky feelings to the more wonderful feelings, and just looking at where am I in this topic or this part of my life along this spectrum of experiences, and how do I move from here to there?
Wow. Literally, not just,
Literally
yeah.
moving your body. And so if you're in frustration, you might feel tight and condensed and in that fighting position. But where you want to be is in engagement or innovation, where you feel bigger and expansive and joyful and connected, and like you're in that flow of life and the sun is shining on you and you can actually hear the birds instead of focusing on that aggressive, like I have to survive kind
Yeah.
of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we were doing.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I know even within the realm that I work in with the nutrition and stuff like that, I do a lot of coaching as well, but it is so amazing and it amazes me on a daily basis how much research they are coming out with nowadays with regards to either nutrition, life coaching, the way that the brain works, in connection with the body, that body brain connection. And I don't know. I just get goosebumps thinking about it because it is so amazing. Maybe I'm just a geek when it comes to stuff like that, but it is so amazing. And I think it's an area that more and more of us are becoming open to and understanding and using, because it is so essential in this day and age when we tend to be so go focused or stuck in our heads, not realizing, it comes down to eating, breathing, movement, all these
Yeah.
basics. And sometimes not sometimes, we essentially have forgotten how to do these basic things. And it's not really our faults from,
No.
what's going on in society. And, this is why I think a lot of what our Wellness Warriors group does is so, so very essential and amazing for
And fun.
just getting back to our cores, and coming
Yeah.
back to our essence of who we are.
Yeah.
I think that's
But
important.
I love how you tapped into that joy,
Yeah.
the joy of learning, because I think that's why, I've been studying for more than 20 years
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not tired of it.
Oh,
And some parts are getting more complicated. Like as I study neuroscience, sometimes I'm scratching my head. Okay, hold on a second. And then other parts can really be just broken down into simple things. Um, and that's what I find so fascinating, like learning about the vagus nerve,
yes.
and how actually splashing cold water on your face or singing or, or just moving your posture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've learned intuitively through yoga, just
Yes.
by doing it and teaching it. It's like I can change everything by changing my posture.
Yeah.
Everything,
Yeah.
and how if I go for a walk, how I hold my body and how I breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's fascinating. The body is fascinating, and how accessible wellness
It is.
is amazing.
It's the desire to want to do it though too, I think. And although people say, oh yeah, I'll just go to a life coach, or I'll just go to a yoga teacher, or I'll just go to a nutritionist and I'll be better. Sometimes, all the times it's not that simple. It's a matter of understanding and really wanting to change, but understanding that people have to do the work as well. It's not
Yeah.
just, you're not going to be able to sit down with you and all of a sudden, miraculously you'll feel better. You have to really bring yourself into that moment, do the work in your head or do the work in your body or do something along that lines, and really, become what it is that you want to be. I think, it's that always becoming,
Yes, there's
always working
effort.
towards it. Yeah.
And that's why it's a practice.
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
practice never ends, right? It's ongoing, and you and I have days where we don't feel our best
No.
and where we struggle and we need to call a friend,
Yeah.
or call our coach. But just also recognizing we're not always going to feel motivated or inspired, and and that's okay too. But if you're um, if you're really looking for change, there's no magic pill.
No,
Nobody's going to give you a magic pill.
no.
There is work to be done, and there's a mindset that has to change, and language that changes, and posture that changes. But hopefully, um, you recognize and you start to feel it gets to be more fun,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it gets to be more intuitive. It gets to be lighter and a little bit easier. And you also learn who your resources are.
Mhm.
You learn what your toolkit is and when to use it. Um, what books to read, what news to avoid. you know,
Yes,
the,
yeah.
the activities that feed you and the ones that drain you. And
Hmm.
it's a process. And, I've been doing it, like I said, really started when I was about 8,
Wow.
right? It's like this, I didn't get to be like this just by accident.
Oh, no, no, it's a journey. Definitely a journey. I mean,
Yeah.
even with my own journey, it's like consciously, I know exactly when it happened, it started. But even before that, it was a process that was leading up to it. It was like all the little things that just didn't feel right, or you wanted to make changes. You're not quite sure what it was, but you just, you start to understand your body and start listening. And when I had a friend come up to me and say, "Are you happy?" And I wasn't able to answer that question. I mean, it was such a simple question at the time, and he probably wasn't even thinking about when he asked me that. But I was just like, no, I couldn't answer it. And it devastated me, and I imploded. And right then and there, I started my journey, and that was 1999. So, I mean,
Wow.
it does take a long time, and it's ups and downs and
Yeah.
valleys and books and talking to people and feeling
And
what's right. And that,
courses
yeah.
and yeah.
So it
Hmm.
does take a long time for sure. And yeah,
Yeah.
and I
Yes.
enjoy it. I enjoy because I enjoy learning. And when I can dive into something else that I know I'm going to get one of those, oh yeah, that makes sense. And you just like a light goes off literally,
Yeah.
and you just feel a little bit opener, and it just makes all the difference
And look at
for
you
me.
now.
Yeah. Huh?
Look at you now,
Oh,
right?
well, I try. Like I said, it's a work in progress all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think it always will be.
Hmm.
And we need to be a lot kinder
Yes.
and um, resist the urge to compare ourselves to others
Hmm.
and not get sucked into reaching an end goal,
Yeah,
you know?
because there isn't really one.
No.
No. And it's funny because I was talking about that in my private group this morning too, because we were talking about cravings, but at the same time, I started off the conversation with Instagram, Facebook, imposter syndrome, all these different things, striving for something that doesn't exist, and just trying to do better because we know better in the moment, as opposed to feeling guilty or ashamed or whatever, because in that moment, you needed to eat the whole chocolate cake, as opposed to, well, I know better today and maybe I can do better today. But if I don't, well, it's okay, just move forward and using those tools along the way. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I love my group. I hope everybody has gotten to know my people a little bit more. And I know there's a lot more amazing people within the Sudbury area, even online, all over the place. If you guys, anybody that watches these videos, wants to get access to any of these people, all you have to do is connect with me. I can hook you up with Darlene or Dana or Dawn. It's the 3 Ds and the W, I think. That was the other name I
That.
came up with when it goes to the Wellness Warriors. But yeah, just an amazing, amazing group of practitioners and just people in general. So that's why I wanted to really showcase them all through April. And I wanted to thank you, Darlene, for taking a few moments to come on. Hopefully I'm not keeping you too long and you can get back to your busy life. I know you're one of the essential workers out there right now. So it's important that we all get out and do the things that we can do to get
Hmm.
past all of this very, very fast. So I'll make the comments. I'll put in the comments links to your page and about your webinar that's coming up this weekend, May 4th. When is that?
May 4th, yeah, it's on Monday.
Monday. Okay, Monday at 7 p.m. And if you have a website or different things like that too, I can always put
Yeah,
those links up as well. So thank you
super.
so much,
Thanks so
Darlene.
much, Wendy.
I'll talk to you soon, honey.
Okay.